So hello and welcome to today's tutorial. So in today's video, I want us to see how you can be able to create a system in Microsoft Access, a system that can be able to manage the items maybe you have in your store, in your shop, in a company. So what the system does is the user will be able to log in. So using the details we have in the database, meaning that not all people can be able to access that program. Then once you log in, you'll be able to see a dashboard or a main form that has some fields that you can be able, the button that you can be able to click. So for example, when you want to add a new item, you just click there and then automatically the form will update the ID number. So you can add a new item, maybe another item that is maybe spray, and then maybe have 100 of them in the store, and then you just save new item. So once that item is saved, it will appear on this list box, and then maybe if you make a mistake when you are saving, you can click there and you can come and edit. So maybe you had 20, so you just click edit and automatically it changes or it updates. So if you want to see, maybe you have a big number of items that cannot be displayed on the list box, you can click here and then you'll be able to see all the items that you have in your store. So you have a report that you can be able to print and be able to see all the items that you have. Also, you can be able to add new staff, so people working in your company or people that you work with. So I'm assuming that this system was made for a school. So you have the staff number, you have the third one. So this one can be just a name of person only, and then designation, she can be a cleaner, and then contact, you just put the contact and then you save. And as we are able to see in the first form, you can be able to edit. You just click the one that you want to edit, and then you can be able to make changes, and then you save. You can also be able to see the number of the staffs if there are so many, and then finally you can be able to close that form after you are done with it. From there, you can be able to make transactions with the system. You can be able to issue items to people. So you just click on this button, and then the issue number, and then who is receiving that item. For example, it's me who is receiving. So you just click here, and then which item am I receiving? Display. So I can't remember the number, but let's give like 10. So you click, and then I want to give 10 of them, and then you issue item. And then so once you issue an item, you'll find that if you have some reports here. So if you come to all items, you'll be able to see that only 10 sprays are remaining. And to confirm the system is working correctly, you can be able to see the issues and the balances. So the item that have been issued and the balance that is remaining. So if you look at today's date, today's date 12th April 2024. So Karik Miner has received spray 10 items, and in our store we have 10 items that are remaining. So if you want to receive some items, some new items, you can just click update stock, and then you come receive number, and then the item that you want to receive, maybe you want to receive spray. You already have 10 in the store, so let's receive 105 so that they will become to 115. Supplied by, just type a name, and then you add stock. Okay, and then you can just close that form. So when you add the stock, you'll find that the item will be automatically. You like to continue from where you left last time. So we now want to start creating the system. So we open Microsoft Access in our computer, and then we are going to create the tables. So when you talk about the tables, we are going to create a blank database. So and then our database, we want to call our database infantry, and then we want it to be on the document. So you just click create, and then once you open Microsoft, you see that by default you have table 1, so you just save that one. So you just save this one. We're going to call it table items, and this is the table that will hold all items in our store. And this we are going to create. We're going to go to design so that you can be able to see how your table will look like, and then we want our ID to be number. So ID is the unique field in that table. Then we have description, so the name of that item that we have. So this one can be text, that one is okay. And then we have quantity, or the number of items in that record. So this one can be numbers. So once you are through, you just save our table, and then you go to the next table. So you go to create, and then you want to create a table. You save our table. So the other table that you're going to create is table staffs. So and then you go to design, home, and then you go to design, and then start with staff ID. Staff ID, this one I want it to be number. So later I will be able to see the reason why I want it to be number. And then you have the staff name. Remember, you cannot put some word like name because they are reserved for access. This one should be number, not text. Then we are going to have gender. This one is optional. You can choose to put it or you can choose to omit it. Then you can have contact, and whatever field you are putting here, the table is not limited to those fields. Remember, you can be able to add as many as possible, provided they are related to, or they can be used in that table. Then you go to another table that we have, and this one will be table, so you just save. And this one will be table issue, so the one that you'll be recording all the things that you are giving out from the store. This one you go back to design, so go back to design, and then each table has to have a primary key or a unique field. So this one we start by issue ID, so that you can be able to know which field. And then you're going to have the date, so you cannot use date, so you're going to use the word date, so you're going to use issue date. And this one has to be date or time. So then we are going to go to issued to, or the who will be receiving that item. So this one has to be number, because you're going to create a relationship between the table. So the table staffs and this one. So the primary key for the table staff is what you have here as the foreign key. So later you'll be able to create a relationship. And remember, when you're creating a relationship, those two fields must have the similar, or must have the same data types. So a number must be a number. If it has a text, it has to be a text. Then we are going to put another field that is issued item. And this one, because you are going to create a relationship between table items and this table, it has to be number. And then it has to be issued by, so that you can be knowing who is issued that item. So this one can be, because we are using a table, another table that is table user. And then we can have another item, issued quantity. So how many items were given out, issued quantity. This has to be a number because you are going to do some calculation with them. Then we have to put balance, how many items are remaining. So this one is not a must, but I'm putting it because I want to know on the report. I want to know how many items will be remaining. So you save this one. So we already have 3 tables. We can add another table. This table will be table received. So the item that you'll be receiving from the suppliers. And remember, you can put any name that you want, provided there's a name that meets all the requirement of access. So we go to ID, it can remain, and this one has to be a number because I want it to remain a number. Then date, received date. We want to know when this item received. So this one has to be date or time. Then item received. So which item was received? Because we are going to use this one as foreign key. So we want item from the table. Items, so this one has to be number. Quantity received, so this one has to be number. You're going to do some calculation. Then you can know received by supplier. Where did you get those items? Then received by whom? Who received those items? Okay. Then this one can be text. And then so those one will be okay. So you have the ID, the received date, the item received, the quantity, the supplier, and the received by who. So that one we can save. So if there are some pages, I'll come and change them later. So with those 3 tables, 4 tables, your system can be complete, because we want to add more tables. So to make it more easy to use or easy to design, so you can add a table supplier. So this one will be table supplier, so that you can be knowing who will be supplying the items. Then you got home, then you got to design, then you're going to say ID, which should be a number, and then name, suppliers name, that has to be, and then you can have contact. Okay, and then you can just save that table and you close. Then we are going to have another table, that is table for the people who will be using the system. So this one you can call it table users. This one just close, and then you come to home, and then you design, and then you start by, so this one I don't want us to have primary key, just username and password will be enough. So this one can be text, this one you can have password, this one I don't want it to have, for some reason I don't want it to have a primary key, just save, and then you can close that table. And I think with those one, the system should be able to work. So keep on watching as we go to the next phase of creating a relationship between the tables thing. So hello, let's continue with our tutorial. So the next step that you're going to, or the next thing that you're going to do, is you are going to create the relationship between all these tables that you have. So to do this, you just have to go to database tools, and then you're going to create our relationships. Then for some reason I had tried to create, so you're going to remove all this relationship so that we can see, we can do it together. So just remove the relationship between the tables. And the reason why we create the relationship between the tables is that when you update one or more related tables, the update will be reflected on all those tables. And also we try to remove what we call data redundancy and repeating groups. So meaning that you don't have to put similar details into different tables. So you can just use the primary key of one table, and the table is a foreign key, so that any change to the main table can be reflected on the other table. So the first table that you're going to relate with one another, we have the table items. Remember this, we say it is a table that will hold all the items that we have in our store. And if you look, it has a unique field called ID. So each item will have its own ID. So if we go to the table issue, we have the item or issued item. So this is the same field, but in this table is called a foreign key. So today, these two tables we are going to click, and then you drag here, so that, and we can enforce all those relationships, and then you create. You'll find that once you update this one, it will automatically be updated here. And with this issue ID or issue item, you can be able to know all the other details of those items. We'll come to that when you come to making queries or creating queries. Then the other table that is related to table items is the table you can just drag and place the table received. This one we have the item, so this one you are going also to create a relationship between these two tables. And we have said once with this item you can be able to know which items or other details relating to that item. Then we have a table stuff that is related to table received, because we want to know, not necessarily, sorry for that. So we have the table, so this one you can drag this one. So you have the table stuff, because we want to know who received that item. So issue 2 will be related to the staff ID. So with this one, with the issue 2 in this table, you can be able to extract all these other details of that. So we'll come to the query and be able to see what I meant by this one. Then we have table received, and then the ID of the supplier table will be related to this one. You can enforce integrity. And then finally, we have the table username. Then username should be related to received, because we want to know who user received that item. Then you are going to create this one, because we don't have a primary key, which is not a good programming or a good database practice. You can just create this one. And the reason why, because I don't want to put so many fields in that table. I just want to know who is the username, and then you just put a password. So now our table is properly related. This one, you'll find that once you create good tables, good relationship, when it comes to making queries or asking the database some question, you'll find that it's very simple for you to be able to know that. So keep on watching, follow or subscribe for more tutorials. Thank you. Welcome back. So now that we have the tables, we have the relationship, we can go forward and create some queries. For example, you want to know who received the item, from which supplier, and how many were received. So remember, you are using more than one table, so you need to get a query that can be able to link all those tables, so that when you are reporting, you can be able to create good reports. And because you are not creating the system for yourself, you're creating for others, you should be able to put it in a way that the user can be able to know or can get the report as required. So you're going to go to create, and then you're going to query design, and then for the first we are going to create a table showing how things were issued out. So you're going to use table issue. So you double click the table that you want to use, then item, and then the staff. So the staff who received the item, and then you can also use table user so that you can know who issued that item. The first thing that you are going to use is issue ID, so that you can know the ID, and then you can use the issue date, when was the time issued, and then because we don't want to use the number of the staff number, because you don't have to know all the staff by their number, but you know them maybe by name. So instead of clicking this one, you're going to use the staff name and then the item that was issued. So instead of using the issue number or the ID of that item, you can use the description and then the quantity that was issued. So you can have the quantity that was issued. You can also use issued by. So this one should be related to this one. Sorry for that one. Issued by. So you can have the username, and then so this one should become. So let's create a column here. So we want here to be quantity issued, issue quantity. So you can just drag here, and then you want to use table issue, and then you want to use the issue quantity. So that is another way of creating a query. And then maybe you can put the balance, so that one should do. And then you're going to save our query. So all issues, so all that have been issued to the user. So we'll come to that later, and then we see how we can do it. Then we can create another query of all received. So we go to query design, and then this time we want to use the table items, table received, and table supplier and table user. So with table ID, we are going to take the received ID. So you double click, and then the date received. So this one, and because you cannot use the item number because that will confuse the user, so you just use our table here, the table item. And the field that you want to use is the field called description. So we just have the name of that item, and then we are going to have the supplier name, so description, and then the quantity received, and then here you're going to have the table supplier so that you can know from which supplier the item was received, the supplier name, and then finally you're going to have the username. So you can save our table, our query, and this one should be all received. Okay, so with this one you will be able to know the ID or the issue number, the received number, then you'll have the date received, the item by name, the quantity received, the supplier by the supplier name, and then the user or who was using that computer at that time by his or her name or credential. So that is enough for queries. We just have 2 queries. Let's save and continue this tutorial. Remember to follow, like, and subscribe for more tutorials. I'm back. Now that we have our database with tables and queries, and also the tables are related to one another, we can go ahead and create the forms. So the forms are the one that you'll be using when you want to enter data into our tables. So you go to create, then you're going to create forms. So we go to more forms, then I want to use the model dialog, which looks like this one. So you can remove these 2 buttons at the bottom. This one. You can also go to properties, and then we can adjust our form. So format, we want the background to be, so let's see what we can be able to change. So the back color, we want to be something like this one. Yeah, that one is good. And then we can go on and put some controls. So the first one that you're going to put is you're going to put a command button. So this will be, we don't want you to put code. This one you can call it save new. Then we can change here to button save. So the name can be button save. So we can copy and paste this one. So this one you can put it there. This one you can call it edit. So this one can be button edit. So this one you can just drag downward somehow. So you can also put some text box. So the first one that we are going to put is this one called here. So you can move the text on the label because you want to put our own label. So this one you can come here and then you can click here and type. So item number or ID. This one you can place it somewhere there. Then we can highlight both of them and we can change the font size. So we want to use Times New Romans. And font size should be 12. Then this one you want it to be somehow smart. So special effect you want it to be chiseled. So you can make it a bit bigger. Yeah, that way. And then once we have this one, you can just copy. Ctrl C, Ctrl C. So you can copy those one. And then you can see the field that we have in our table. So we have ID, we have description, quantity. So this from this we can call it ID. You can call it ID. This one you can call it description, yes, so that you can be able to identify. Then this one you can call it quantity. And this one you can come and change the label here. So this one you can call it item description. And this one you can come here and call it the quantity. The quantity. This one you can even make it bold together with this one. I don't like this color, so you're also going to change the color. So you can also change here, so you can make it black or green or whatever you want. Let's try the green. Not really. So the font color here, you can try with the green, you see what will happen. then it should be bold. Even this one should be bold. Then you can save our form. So it should be form items. Then from there, you're going to add a list box. So you go to design, then you're going to use a list box. So this one, and then you're going to draw it there. So this one will be displaying all the items that you have already saved in the database. So this one you can call it, let it remain that way. Remember that all our fields are not directly connected to the database, so you have to put them manually. So once you do that, you can take it somehow, so you can even reduce the size that way. This one you can select this one and take it here. And we want this one, the source of data source for the list box. We want us to get it from the table. So you're going to say where our table will get the field, and then the source. Not that one really. So you click there, and then you want it to get from the table items. So you're going to use to click all of these. Then you close so that you can save. So save, and then we have the column count. So we'll move from 1 to 3. Then we can put column head, save, and then you just save. So if you happen to open this form, you'll see that the list box has the ID, the description, and the content, because we have nothing in our table. So now we are going to go forward. You're going to go forward and then create the code for saving. So you right click, and then you go to build event, and then you go to code builder. From there, you're going to start with the form load. So the first thing that you're going to do is we are going to look for the database or the table. Does it have some value? If it does not have some values, then the ID text box will display 1. If it has some values, then the code will be able to add or to calculate the total number of records in that table, and then add 1 so that you can get the ID for that field. You'll see when you do this. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to say description. Remember, you have a control called description dot value or dot set focus, meaning that once you open the form, the cursor will be on description. Then from there, we are going to declare our database. So DB. So a name for our database, you can call it anything. SDAO database. Then our table or record set. So SDAO record set. Then from there, we're going to declare another variable called x as integer. So this one will hold the value that you'll get in that form. From there, we're going to connect to the database. So set db, or the name that you have called our database, is the current database, the current db. Then you're going to open our table, set, ls equals our current database of db dot open record set or open table, because we want to use this table. And the table should be table items, and you have to confirm the name of the table, because if you make a mistake it will not open. So, and of course we have to close the bracket. So let me confirm the name of our table before we proceed. It is called table tbl items. From there we are going to look. So we are going to look if our database has some values. Beginning of the file is equal to if is equal to false, meaning that this is not, there are some record in that table. So if ls or our table dot beginning of file bof means beginning of the file has some values, meaning it is false, then our x, the one that we have declared, will be ls dot record count. So it is going to count all the record in our table, and then it is going to add 1. Then else, if it is on the table has no values, so x will be 1, and then we add if, or we add the condition, and then we are going to assign our, so we are going to assign our id dot value equals x, and we can save and see what will happen. So you can just, so you see, because in our table we don't have any value, so what this one will do is it will give our id as 1. And then you can see that the cursor is on the second text box. So we can move ahead and now create the record for saving. So you just right click and then go to build event, code builder. Okay, and then now you want to birth. So this one you can just copy this one. So it is just all the same. So this one. So you can adjust this one so that the computer will not be confused. So that is a common. First, let's clear the database and then the record set. From there, we are going to set our database. So set db1 equals current db. This one you can create a function that can hold this one instead of doing them now and then. But for this case, let me do it one by one so that you can understand. Then equals db1 dot open, just like we have said, open record set, and then we are going to open table called tbl items. Then we are going, of course, to close. From there, once the table is open, we are going to add new. So we are going to add a new record, and then what we are going to do is we are going to take our database, the field called id. We take the value that we have in our text box called id.value, the value in that control. Then ls our database description, field called description is going to take, or it's going to be filled with a value from a field called description in our form dot value Then in our database we have another, in our table you have another field called quantity. So this one is going to be field, or it's going to take the values from the control in our form called quantity.value. Then once you get that one, you are going to update. So you are going to update our table. So in that code, the computer should be this one should be dot. So in that one, the computer should be able to know that and take that value and save it in our database. Once it saves, you're going to display a message box, and then you're going to say record successfully saved, and we can say VB, okay, cancel. This one is going to decide whether you're going to put them or not. And then of course put in the name of a database of a system, so it can be inventory management system. Then once it is saved, so you're going to do something. Before you come to the house, it updates. We want the field for description to be empty, so that you can be able to put some other dot value is equal to nothing in a quantity that is in the form. Quantity dot value is equal to nothing. So then once you save that, you want to close the form. To close, then the form that you want to close is this form items, and then you want it to save. There's something that you have not saved, it should save, and then again you want it to open that form, so it will close and open that form items. So we save, and then we see how our program is working. So we can say that the other item that you're going to save is something like biscuits, and the quantity that you have is 500. Then we can save. Save. Just a minute. So the table is opened, so there might be a mistake somewhere. Yeah, the table is saved. So let's open again. Yeah. So the problem was it was not reflecting because the table was open. So we can have another one that is tea bags, and then you can have 10 of them, and then you save. Then so that how it should be done. It seems that there's some problem in the code, so let me see why it is not opening, why it is not updating automatically, because it should update automatically. So and then it should close that form and then open that form. Let me close and open this database again. And we see where the problem is. Sorry, we are not using PowerPoint. I was confused by the color of the icons. So 3, and then you have Gene, and then it should be 500. Again, just a minute. Okay, hello. Now let's continue from where I left. Now that you have that form, you can create another form for recording the stuff that you have. And we are going to copy the form that you have here for the form item, and then you are going to paste, and you are going to rename this one. So this one will be form stuffs. So then we just say okay, and then you are going to open this one in design. So we are going to change the code that we have. This one should be first thing. We are going to change this one to staff ID, then we have staff name, then we have the contact. So remember, I'm doing this to save time. So instead of entering all those, and then we are going to know what they are called. So staff ID, staff name, gender, and contact. So this one you can call it the staff ID. Then this one you can call it staff name, and this one you can call it contact. So then here between the contact and the staff name, we have another field that is not here. So this one you are going to select, and then we move it a bit downward, and then even these two we can move them a bit down. So this one you can move it, and then you can copy, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. You can take this one here, and then this one you are going to call it gender. And then here we are going to create, we're going to use design, and then you're going to use a combo box so that the user can be able to select whether I want to type what I want, and what I want is I want male and female. Then you can say next and finish. So you can remove this label before the column and before the text box. This one you can make it a bit bigger. Then you can format it like the others. So you can go to, you want it to be chiseled, then you want to use Times New Roman, then it should be 12 in size, yes. And then another thing we can say, so I don't want people to add something that is not there. This one we can call it, so its name can be, so you can come here and then you go to where you have the name, and we want this one to be called gender. So that is that. Then once you have done editing, even this one you are going to change. So from, we are getting from that table, now you want to change the table. So you just remove this table, and then you can come here, and then you see the table that you have, and you want to use table staffs, then you want staff ID, staff name, gender, and contact. So once you do that, you just close like you did in the first form, and then this one you have to change the column count, because this table has 4 columns, so it has to be 4. So automatically, if it is 4, you have to increase the size a bit. Maybe if I get time, I'll come and show you how you can be able to set the size, different sizes for each column. So that way, this one should be, that one is good. So for it to work, we are going to go to build event, and we are going to change the table. First thing that you're going to do is we are going to change the table to table staffs, because we are using the table staffs and not the table items. Remember, this form is for staffs, so that one is okay. The first one is okay, so this one should be staff name but not description. Should be staff name, and then you can save. I think this one should be staff ID. Let me see if there is here. Yeah. Then from there, you can come here and edit where you have the list box. So this one should be staff ID. So it's as simple as that. Staff name. Then we have gender, whether male or female. Then we can add the fourth. This one should be contact. So this one should be contact. This one should be column number 3. So you see, once you code for one, the others will be simple as that. And where you have the form items, you have to make it form staffs. Okay, so whenever you have form ID, form items, it has to be form staffs. Form staffs. So for example, if you want to save a record, so what you do, it can remain that way. You just change this table to table staffs. Then we have staff ID. So remember to save this one. This one is staff name. This one should be gender. Same case with here. It should be gender. This one should be staff name. This one should be staff ID. And then you add the other one, which was contact, which equals contact dot value. And also this one, you have to remove this one, you update, just update. So this one also should be gender. Then you can add the fourth one, which is contact dot value. Then equals save. From there, we're also going to change here. So whenever you have form item, we are going to change to form staffs. Then here form staffs. Then here we have change. You're going to, it can remain that way, but for table you can change table staffs. then there should be staff ID, then staff ID, so you update so that it reflects what you have on your staff table. Then record, then staff name, okay, should be what we have in our staff name in this form. Then gender, and then we have gender. Then we have another one that is not here, that is liaison to the contact, which equals contact dot value, and then you update. So this one you just update all of those. Then here you can come and change staff name, gender, then finally me dot contact dot value equals empty. So you save your work, and then you can close there, and then you can run the form. So you'll find that once you open the form, we don't have a record in our table, so automatically the staff ID becomes 1. Then we can have the name of the staff, and then gender should be male, and then contact should be 07, and then you just save. So there's something that is not in the collection. So let's see, that is a problem in the table. So that I've inserted a field that is not there in our table. So let's see, what is that field? They said you have to be specific. Okay. So let's see our staff's name. So I've inserted staff names instead of staff names. So let's do this again. Just a small mistake. Build an event. So I have the staff name we have to update with. I have the staff name in the database. So this one you have to update with we have to put an S at the end. Yes, I think they are just those two that you are saving something to the table. Then you can go back and see what happens. So repeat what you have typed, karaoke minor, and then gender should be male, then contacts, just select contact, and then so you see you have our first. So you can type another one. 2 is 10. Here's the female. Contact is 1, 2, 3, 4. That way. So you can see it is automatically updating. Then you can have Joy Maidera. Then gender is female, sorry. And then you save. Then the next thing that you're going to look at this form is whether you can be able to transfer data from this list box to the controls that you have the text box. So you can click just any, yeah. Then you can change this to Michael Kamau. and then who is a male, then you can edit. So it's working, and then finally you can just try with close, then it is working. So for the other forms, I may not be able to do all that, or like all that, but whatever you have done those two forms is what I'm going to do in the other forms. So just be saving, editing, and maybe some other things, but when I find it necessary, I'm going to come and explain it to you. So thank you, keep on watching and subscribe for more tutorials. Thank you. Oh, hello and welcome again. We are still creating our system, and for now I've been able to create another form, that is form for issuing items to the staffs. And our form has just these fields. It has the date, we'll be recording the today's date, and then a text box where the user can be able, or where we'll be getting the user who is logged in. This one will put it later. Then you have the issue number, which will be generated automatically when the form loads. Then you have a combo box that has all the staffs we have in our company. Then you have all items that you have in a table. Then you have the quantity. So for this form, the user is only supposed to enter the item that he or she is giving out. So you have the staffs, their names, those that are in the table. Then you have the items, all of them. Then, so to see how we made this one, so you're going to go to design. Then, so for this one, so what we have done, we have come to data, and then we have selected. So if you look that it is getting the data from the table of staffs, and it's getting the staff ID and the staff name. So you can close that one. The same case with items, because it is getting the item number or ID and the item name. And if you come here, you'll find that the board column, or the column that is bound to that record, is column 1, meaning that we are only interested in the item or the staff number. So the description and others, we don't have to worry about them. And then we have set the column width, because the staff ID and the item name ID, they are smaller in size as compared to the description and the staff name. So that is why we have set these measurements. And then we can now go to and save something. And then let me see, we already I was trying this one, so we can remove this one. So let's remove what we have. Then of course we close this table. Then we have, so this one, we also have the table items. Table items, and then so we can say our laptop was initially 1, so we can make it 1. Then biscuit is 500. So what this form is doing, what the issue is doing, first it's going to update the table issue. So it's going to list what have been issued, the time, the date it was issued, who received, and also the remaining items. And then on the table items, it's going to update, so it's going to minus. So what do you do here? You come here and then you select who is receiving, that is me, Karaoke, and you see you're only taking the number. Then you come biscuit. So how many? You already have 500 in the store, so you can give out 100, and then you click issue. So it's first going to update the table issue. Then the next thing, it is going to update the table items. Okay, so that if you go to the table item for now, you'll find that the biscuit that you have are 400. Initially they were 500, and then we have given 400 and you have a balance of 400. So let's try something else, maybe the laptop. We only have one, so we can run this form again. So this time we want to give to Michael a laptop, and we are going to give him the laptop that we have, that is one. So we just save, yes, then we close, and then we find that table issue has given one laptop and you have 0 in your records or in a store. In the same case, you come to the laptop, we have 0 laptops. So you can see it is able to update successfully in this. So what I was saying about the query, if you remember, I said with the queries, the reason why we do this, we are trying to remove redundancy. But if you are to use this table, you cannot be able to know which item was issued out and by who received that item. So that way come with queries, and we had our query that was displaying all the items that have been issued. So if you click here, you'd be able to see very well. So you have issue number, the details was issued, the item name, then the name, then issued quantity and the balance. So that is all about issuing and the query that we created. And when it comes to received, it's all the same, just minus. Instead of adding, instead of minusing or removing, you are adding. So they have the same basic concept. And what you want to do is that our system can be able to add and minus from what you already have in the store. So thank you for watching. So keep tuned. Continue from where I left. So I was creating the table for the form for receiving. So what you're going to do, you're just going to open the form. Then I already have entered one record, so let's enter another one. So we had allowed 400 biscuits, and then we have received them from any supplier that we have in our database. Then we have received 100 of them. Then you just like the issuing form. So what is this one is doing? It is saving 2 tables: the table issue or the table received, so that you can be able to see what was received, each item, the quantity, and the suppliers. Then it is also updating the table items that you have in the database. For example, you see you have 500 biscuits. So you can go through the form and see what I've done. So we are going to go in design view, and then we have the text box for the date. So this one, you said you are going to work on it as we finalize the form. Then you have the receive number, which is going to be generated automatically. Then we have the combo box with all the items that we have in our table. Then the suppliers that we have in our table. So the supplier have populated with some data, you can see them. Then the quantity that you are going to give out. Then if you come to the code, you find that it is looking for that item, just like we did in updating or editing the stuffs and the item. So it's going to look on the ID of the item in the cover box item, and then it is going to go through the database and find the quantity in that, and then it's going to add the quantity to what we already have in the tables. It is going to add what we are adding, so that you can get the total value. Then on the table receive, it is going to save all that. So that is what necessarily it does. And you can see the receive data. I want it to be generated automatically. So every time the form opens. If you are going to format, so you have date, month, and year. So that is all for receive form. So keep tuned as we move for the other object of the database. And those are the forms. Thank you for watching. So another thing that you are going to do with this system, so you are going to create two more forms. One for login form, so the user will be using to log into the system, and also the main form, so that you can be through with all the forms. And now you can just create the reports. So I've already created the login form. So we are going to update our table. First of all, you have to update our table. You have one user, so we can add another one. The password will be my surname. Then, so the form just need to field it. You need the password and the username, and the password you have to come to the data and then input mask. You put this type of password so that whoever is using the password or entering the password will not be able to know what is being entered. Then from there, you're going to go to the login button. So by now you should be able to know how to create those one. So you're going to create a function to validate. So it is going to check the username that you have entered. So the username that you have entered in the text box username, is it the same with the one that you have in your table? The same case with the password. So the username must be having the same password that you have in your table. And then you are going to use a DLOOKUP. So that is going to check the username. And then in this table, and it's going to confirm. So if the password and the username that you have entered, they are correct, you're going to get a message that is login successful. And then we are going to open the main form. And then in the main form, there's a text box called text username value, which is going to display the name of the user that has logged in. So in case the username or the password is not correct, you're going to get invalid password or username. So you can just come to the username, to the main form. So the main form looks like this. So for now, you only have the text username, this one here. So once you log in, it will be able to display who is using the system for that time. So you can just close and see how it is going to do. So we have created karaoke. The password is minor. So we can log in. So the details are correct. So you'll find that your name will be displayed here. And this one is very important because we are going to use it in other forms. For example, the receive and the issue form, so that you can be able to know who has given out items and who has received the items. So you can close that one and see what if we put the wrong login credentials. So for example, light car, and then password just anything. So you'll find that you cannot be able to log in. So having done that, we're going to go to the main form, design, and then we are going to add buttons. This button, you can just put them for form operation, open forms. And the form that you want to open with this one is form items. Okay. This one should be item form. You can give it the name that you feel is good for you. So that one. So sorry for that one. Let's just put another one. So we're going to put a command there. Then you're going to use a form operation. So you want to open a form. Then we are going to open form item. So let's use text that where I made a mistake. Add new item. Then you say OK. So new item will be the name for the command. Yeah, that way you can add another one still here. So I want to see how you can add this one. Then form operation, open a form, and you want to open form stuff. Next it will be add new stuff. Then you got next. Then so you can try to align these two for the button to be the same. So something like that. And that is what we are going to do for this form. To add even the others, you can just complete this one. So you can come here. Then you add another form operation. You just want to be opening the form. The form that you want to open is form for receive. Receive. So it should be, call it in stock. Just in a name will just do. So this one it has to be arranged together with the others. And then you can add the other one. This one should be form operation. Open form. Then this one should form issue items. Issue items, and then you can call it issue, whichever name you want. It should work perfectly fine. So that is how we do things. Then once you do that, if you can close this one. So if for now you log in, so let's use the admin account, admin. Then you log in. If you click on this one, you'll be able to get that form will be displayed there. If you open that form, will be displayed there. If you open that form, but what we want this name to be displayed here, so that when you save, you can be able to know who issued out the items. So we are going to come to the form receive. Then we are going to come to BA2 event. Then on the form header, load. Once the form loads, we are going to say received by dot value is equal to forms, then form main, then we have text username. I'm not sure if it will work. Text username, let's see if it is going to work. So you can try to log in. You can see how they are relating to one another. Admin. So yes, so if you look this one, you'll be able to know who has logged in, so you don't have to enter. So by now, if you come and then you issue like biscuit like 10, or to receive, sorry, then you want to receive 500 biscuits, and then you receive, okay. If you come to a table now, table receive, you'll be able to see that they were received by admin. That's what I was trying to do in those tables. So having done that, I mean, the remaining part of this project is the report. And the report are very simple to create. You can choose so for example, if you want to create a report for this one, you can just double click this one, you open, and then you come to create, and then you create a report. Okay. So once you create a report, you'll have a plot, and then because all the other form are a model form, meaning that they are being displayed in front of others. So you can come to design here, then I want to change. Let's show you that it is here that you normally change. Oh, sorry, it should be on the form, not on the outer end. So let's see where you have the report. So you are going to put here pop-up should be yes, and model should be yes. And then you save your report. You can call it report received. Then you save. Now if you want to put your report in the main form, or whatever you want to put it, just have to come to design of the main form, and then you add another button here, and then so it should be report operation, that is open a report. And then which report do you want to open? This one, you only have one report. Then you say all received. So then you go to next, then just put a name, and then you say okay. So this box should be, or command box should be able to open your report. Then the other thing maybe that you can do, I'm almost winding up, is you come to the file, then you go to options, and then you go to current database, and then you set which form do you want to be displayed when your system is open. For our case, we want the login form. Then you say okay. Then you find that with this one you have to close the system for it to effect. And from there we are going to see how it is going to do. So this is our system that we are working on, and you'll find that once you open, automatically the username or the wrong form will be active. So another thing maybe that you should know is if you want to remove the menus, or you don't want the user to see the navigation tab, the menus, the form, and the like, you can come here and select all these. So you can disable all this one. So you can disable as many as possible. So remove the then you say okay. Again, once you do that, you'll have to close and open your system again, and then you'll find that by now it doesn't have many things on the screen. You can be able to access, but you cannot be able to access the menu. On this one, you just click here, and then you'll be able to enter, and then you can be able even to see the form, the report. This is your report. So your final project should look something like this. So I have it in my computer. So let's see. So once you finish up with putting all those fields, editing, adding more button, your system should look like this one. So you have all these one, and then you can be able to add, you can be able to remove items or give out items. You can be able to take in items. You can be able to see how many have been issued all the time that you have, and you can be able to see who is using the system. Then that's all for today. Hope you have enjoyed the video. Subscribe and keep on watching. Thank you.